The night I stepped out to grab the mail changed everything. I'm Jack Harper, a former Marine-turned-mechanic, running a small custom bike shop in Willow Grove, a cookie-cutter suburb in Oregon. It was September 12, 2023, just past 8 p.m., and my daughter, Lily, was inside, her laughter echoing from a science project we'd just finished a baking soda volcano that erupted like a champ on our kitchen counter. I'm a single dad, and Lily, my 10-year-old with a smile that could melt steel, is my whole world. Willow Grove was supposed to be our safe haven, a place where I could leave behind the chaos of my past tours in Afghanistan and give her the quiet life she deserved. But that night, as I crunched down the gravel driveway to the mailbox, the world showed me it had other plans. It started with a piece of paper taped to my mailbox in that overly fancy font only an HOA would use. The Willow Grove Homeowners Association, led by Margaret Hensley, a woman who seemed to live for enforcing rules about grass height and mailbox paint, had declared a new curfew. No one was to step outside, open their mailbox, or leave their homes between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. Violators faced a fine. I chuckled, crumpled the notice, and tossed it into the recycling bin. Margaret was notorious for her petty power trips, once fining me $50 because my garden hose wasn't coiled symmetrically. I had bigger things to worry about, like making sure Lily's volcano didn't glue itself to our table. That was my first mistake. The air was cool that evening, the sky streaked with a fading purple glow. I opened the front door, Lily trailing behind, asking to see the stars. I reached the mailbox, flipped open the metal flap, and froze as a black van screeched to a stop beside me. No headlights, just a shadow in the dusk. 3 men spilled out, wearing black polos stamped HOA security, earpieces glowing blue, gripping tasers that sparked yellow in the dim light. They looked like wannabe commandos, faces smug, moving with the clumsy confidence of men who thought they owned the night. My marine instincts kicked in. "Lily, get inside. Lock the door," I shouted. Her scream, sharp, terrified, cut through me as she ran back to the house. They came at me like a pack of wolves, one from the front, 2 flanking. My old USMC shirt flashed in their van's floodlights as I pivoted, letting the lead guy's momentum carry him past. I grabbed his arm, twisted it until I heard the sickening crack of bone, and used him as a shield against the second. He screamed, his taser clattering to the ground. The second hesitated just a heartbeat enough for me to shove his buddy into him, sending them crashing into Margaret's prized hydrangeas. The third guy, smarter, hung back, aiming his taser. I scooped up the dropped weapon, sidestepped his lunge, and jammed it into his thigh. The buzz was deafening. He dropped, twitching. The others scrambled back to their van, dragging their friend, and peeled out, leaving behind crushed flowers and the smell of burnt ozone. I stood there, chest heaving, adrenaline screaming through my veins. Then I remembered my helmet, left on the mailbox post from my ride home. It had a tiny camera installed for insurance, and it had recorded everything: the van, the attack, the whole mess. I grabbed it, hands shaking, and glanced at the house. Lily was safe, the door locked. But as I replayed the fight in my head, one detail burned bright. The guy with the broken wrist had gasped, "Wrong house." Not this one. My blood ran cold. This wasn't random. It was planned, targeted, and they'd hit the wrong address. Worse, it happened during Margaret's curfew, a rule that kept everyone indoors, no witnesses. Someone else in Willow Grove was their real target. What had I just stumbled into? Willow Grove was sold to me as paradise: neat lawns, a shimmering pond, houses so uniform they could have been 3D printed. After the war, all I wanted was calm, a place where Lily could ride her bike without me scanning for threats. I opened Jack's Bike Works, channeling my obsessive focus into crafting custom motorcycles. But Margaret Hensley ruled this suburb like a dictator, her blonde bob as unyielding as her fines for unapproved fence colors. My neighbor, Tom, a retired bookkeeper with binoculars he swore were for birdwatching, but always aimed at Margaret's house, warned me she'd been lording over Willow Grove for years. "She drove out the last guy who challenged her," he whispered. "His cat ended up dyed purple." I ignored her rules to keep the peace for Lily, but that night, the curfew felt like a trap. I plugged the helmet cam into my laptop, the footage raw and brutal. I watched it 10 times, then slipped on my shop headphones, the kind I used to hear a piston's whisper. I cranked the volume, filtering out the scuffle, and caught a faint crackle from a walkie-talkie. Team 1, confirm the pond is clear for deposit. Deposit. Not a word for a beatdown. The pond, a dry, weed-choked ditch behind the houses, was hidden by trees. This wasn't about mailboxes. It was about something bigger, something worth attacking me to protect. I called my old Marine buddy, Ethan Cole, a private security guy who thrived on bad jokes and worse odds. Jack, scale of 1 to airstrike, how bad is it? He asked. A solid 7, I said, briefing him on the attack, the curfew, the deposit. He was at my house in 2 hours, duffel bag packed with gear, including night vision goggles. We crept through backyards to the pond's edge, the curfew keeping the neighborhood silent. After an hour in the dirt, headlights appeared, 2 tanker trucks, not cars, rumbling along a service road. Through Ethan's goggles, I saw men in work gear drag hoses to the pond, unloading a stinking, chemical sludge. It was poison, dumped right behind our homes. Margaret's curfew was cover for a felony. I leaked a clipped version of the attack video to a local blogger, Lisa, who loved exposing corruption. The post sparked chatter, but Margaret hit back hard, calling it propaganda from a rebellious resident, me, and hiking HOA dues for security. Then it got personal. Driving Lily to school, my brakes went soft. I yanked the emergency brake, stopping inches from a collision. Under the truck, I found a cleanly cut brake line. They tried to kill me, didn't care Lily was with me. I sent her to Ethan's sister's house, far from danger, and turned my home into a fortress with cameras and motion sensors. Tom became my lookout, whispering about upside-down newspaper spies. The next escalation was drones, 5 of them, buzzing over my roof with red LEDs like demon eyes. They were mapping my life. A message, we're watching. I snapped photos, and Ethan traced their parts to Aegis Tactical Solutions, a mercenary outfit hired by Omnitech, a chemical giant with a skyscraper downtown. Then the kicker. Councilman Robert Hayes, our ribbon-cutting, green politician, sat on Omnitech's board. He'd given Margaret an award for community leadership. She wasn't the mastermind, she was his pawn. They upped the ante. A cop pulled me over for a broken taillight. I knew was fine. His partner found a baggie of fentanyl on my floorboard planted. Handcuffs snapped shut. A trafficking charge meant decades in prison. In the holding cell, despair crept in. My lawyer, a tired kid, urged a plea deal. I almost broke. Then Ethan bailed me out, his smirk gone. The Jack I know doesn't quit, he said. They threatened Lily. You gonna let them win? That was it. No surrender. I grabbed a satellite phone, dialed old recon contacts, Nate, a hacker, Sam, a pyrotechnics pro, and Shadow, a stealth expert, and planned war. We called it Operation Firestorm. No guns, no brawls, just their arrogance against them. Sam built smoke generators to fake a wildfire. Nate hacked the county's alert system for a targeted evacuation order. Ethan set up a live stream. Tom kept his camcorder ready. At 9:15 p.m., the alert blared, wildfire. Evacuate Willow Grove. Smoke billowed, neighbors panicked, cars clogged the streets. Omnitech's tankers took the bait, rushing to dump before roads closed. Our cameras caught them on a back road, hoses spewing sludge, the live stream climbing to thousands of viewers. Then it unraveled. Aegis pros, not thugs, spotted our cameras and opened fire on a lone cop responding to the chaos. Bullets tore through the night. Worse, Margaret stepped out, screaming orders in a pantsuit, not a pawn, but the operations field boss. Then Tom, defying orders, filmed from his yard, catching Robert Hayes arriving in a sedan, exposed as the mastermind. Sirens wailed, helicopters roared, and the FBI and EPA swarmed in, triggered by the viral stream. My team vanished into the night, feeding anonymous tips with our footage. Margaret screamed, accusing me, but the video, her face, Hayes' arrival was undeniable. She got 15 years, Hayes, 20. Omnitech execs took pleas to avoid life sentences. The HOA was dissolved, its bylaws deemed criminal. My fentanyl charge was dropped with a public apology. Corrupt cops were fired. We won a 9-figure class action against Omnitech. I bought the poisoned land, funded a cleanup, and turned it into Willow Grove Park, a green oasis where Lily planted a tree, her smile fearless. Standing there, families picnicking where poison once flowed, I knew I'd gone to the edge to protect my own. Sometimes, peace demands war. But now I ask you, was I right to take justice into my own hands? Should I have trusted the system, even when it framed me? How far would you go to protect your family? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, and subscribe for more stories that make you question everything.